Hey guys, it's me Dominique coming at you guys with a new video. This video is going to be my review for the Housewives of Atlanta season 6 episode 19, I think it is, or it's the most recent video that was aired today, March 23rd, 2014. Okay, so this episode begins with the fake laughter from Kenya. Like I said in the last review, the fake laughter, wanting Phaedra to think it was more. They were having fun or whatever. And then Phaedra walks in and Phaedra's like, what's going on? And like, everybody is, like, Kenya's so ready to talk. Like she's trying to say, I'm with your nigga. What you gonna say? Whatever. Like, that's how I feel like Kenya's attitude is towards, that's Kenya's attitude towards Phaedra. Then everybody else started to show up, like Nene and Portia, and they come in. And it's like Apollo didn't know what to say, how to act, so he jumps up and he's like, Phaedra, she was about to pop off, and we all know Phaedra is just all this. She's trying to keep it together, and I think that in that episode she probably really was gonna pop off, but then like people start showing up, so it's like she's trying to keep face, and then she's being upset at the same time. So it's like Nene and Portia showing up kind of saved both Apollo and Phaedra. It saved Phaedra for acting an ass and going off and being who she really want to be every time she tried to hold it in together. And it saved Apollo from having to explain for being an asshole he was being. So he jumped up and just cleared it. Like, he jumped up so fast. And then I feel like Apollo keeps saying that he's not a child. He don't need his hand to be held, but it's like he's not comprehending what everyone is telling him, including his wife, that him speaking to Kenya alone, the way he speaks to Kenya or speaking to Kenya on the phone or whatever, that's not the right thing to do as a married man. So it's like, you say you're not a child, but it's like you don't understand. And then it starts to make me feel like this little thing that was going on a trip, were they doing it to keep up for appearances? Like, was their marriage, or is their marriage really over? Was it over from that point on? Because we know, well, some of us feel like we know that things are unfolding and Phaedra and Apollo won't be married for much longer. But it kind of makes me feel like, were they doing that part? Was it to keep up for appearances? Because, or you can clearly see they're having marriage problems then, because it's like Apollo was an asshole. He was being asshole-ish with the whole scene of him finding Phaedra and not staying with her and getting the key and all of that. But he wasn't being like all the way Kirk asshole-ish as far as actually cheating on her that we know of. But he was being an asshole nonetheless. So, Peter, excuse this lighting. I just had to adjust the camera, so if it looks orangey, my bad. So the next scene goes into Peter, Lawrence, and Cynthia on the beach, and Kenya was there too, I think. Yeah, I think Kenya was there. So Peter compliments Lawrence and tells Lawrence looks beautiful. Okay, to me, I feel like there's no way a straight man should be telling a gay, feminine man that he looks beautiful, no matter how much, because I feel like no matter how feminine Lawrence is still a man. I'm not saying that men shouldn't compliment other men, but for Peter to compliment another man that happens to be feminine like he would compliment a woman is unsettling for me. This is just my opinion. I feel like, in my opinion, no matter how secure with your sexuality you are, there's no way as a heterosexual man you should be complimenting a gay feminine man the way you would compliment a woman and say you look beautiful in your dress. I'm sorry, that's just me. That scene goes on and Lawrence talks about Kenya and Apollo being like Brad and Angelina, so it's like he's trying to say Phaedra is like Jennifer Aniston. That's just crazy to me. And he may be right, so whatever. And then Kenya talks about, oh, I'm a nice looking woman, I'm a whatever, I can get dick. Kenya, every woman that has a vagina between her legs can get dick. Every woman. No matter how she looked, nice looking or not nice looking, a man would have sex with anyone. The problem you're having is, yes, you're a beautiful woman, and yes, you can get dick whenever you want dick. You don't have to get a married woman dick. For one, we all can see that you want that married woman dick. Your problem is you can't get consistent dick. We know you're pretty. You were Miss USA, Miss America, whatever. We know you're pretty. We know you have a nice body for your age. But we also know you can't keep a man. So that means a couple things. Your personality sucks, which it does. You're crazy, which you are. And your pussy trash. That's why you can't keep a man. So don't make it seem like, oh, you don't need Apollo and all of this stuff because he's a married man. No, we all know you want Apollo. Yeah, you can get a man and have sex with you, but at this point, because we see that you can't keep a man, and the one man you keep talking about, this Nigerian prince, we have not seen him, so we don't even know if he exists. We're not too sure if you can keep a man. We know you can get a man in Kenya, but we're not sure if you can keep one. That's consistent. Next scene is this surprise birthday party that Apollo plans Phaedra. Okay, in my opinion, the party was a stupid idea. The speech Apollo gave was stupid. The piñata was stupid. That whole thing, trying to be romantic and trying to make up for sitting down and talking to a woman she would consider her enemy, a woman that she knows is trying to fuck you. That whole party thing was not the way to do it. It was just stupid. And you can tell Phaedra probably don't like surprises so much. Then, when Phaedra stands up to do her little speech for thanking everybody, she pulls a Nene. And she pulls a Nene on the same person. Because Nene, remember when the last couple of episodes, I think the charity event that they bring up in this episode, Nene talks about how most of the people in the room are her friends. Of course, we know who she wasn't cool with was Kenya. So, Phaedra basically says the same line. And that's so funny because Phaedra wasn't even at the charity event. And I don't even think Phaedra saw the footage. I don't even think Phaedra knew about Nene's speech until well after the fact. So it's funny that they both said the same thing. So you can kind of tell they from the same area because they had the same mindset kind of sort of. Because they both said, yeah, most of the people in here are basically shading the shit out of Kenya because they saying, bitch, you ain't my friend. And Kenya is always worried about Phaedra and Apollo. It's like this whole episode, like I said before, she was annoying me because it's like every time you turn around, she was worrying about Phaedra and Apollo. What were they doing? How their marriage was, how they were speaking to each other, how everybody else was at the place and then they wasn't there. It just was so annoying the whole time. Then the next scene is Kenya calling herself rehashing the whole couples thing that Nene was trying to do with the question. Like, everybody was thinking, like, what in your right mind would make you feel like that was okay? Like, there's no way. The way that ended, the way that got personal, it lets you know it wasn't okay. So, the first person to answer a question was Portia. Portia talks about older men and being different with sex or whatever. So, of course, all the old people, Nene, Greg, Peter, get offended. I feel like they took that way left field. Because at the end of the day, like Portia says, she can only speak on her. Phaedra was saying she can only speak on her experiences with older men. So why is everybody coming at Phaedra talking about, oh, I feel like that's ignorance and yada, yada, yada. And then Nene goes in on Candy talking about, oh, speaking of ignorance, I didn't like that you asked me if I was still had a period just because I'm in my 40s and I'm going through menopause. Like, Nene, you should have addressed that then. If you were offended by what Candy said then, you should have said, listen, Candy, like, damn, I know I'm older than you, but I don't think it's appropriate, and I feel some type of way about you asking me if I'm going through menopause. But like, and of course, I love the fact, like I said, as the season goes on, I start to like Todd more and more, and I start to feel like, you know, he really cares about Candy, and he really has Candy's back. Because he checks, in a way, I feel like he kind of checks Nene, and he tells Nene, like, man, it's like all about how you say the things. If you had a problem with the way her delivery was, then you should have said something to her and you should have worked on your delivery to her. So I like the fact that Ty did that, and Ty was right. That scene goes on. A question comes up about cheating. I felt like I forgot who it was who asked for Phaedra and Apollo's opinion. I felt like after Phaedra spoke, Apollo should have just been quiet. Apollo shouldn't get engaged, because how are you in a marriage? And it's crazy that you two are in a marriage, but you guys differ on the idea of what cheating is. So there's no way, like, you should have said anything, because for one, I feel like, Apollo, if you didn't agree on what your wife was saying regarding what cheating consists of, that should have been a private conversation and said, look, I feel this way, babe. I understand at the thing you felt that way, but this is the way I feel. We need to come to some understanding. Saying that in front of people was not the best way or the best thing to do, because clearly now it's looking like Phaedra and Apollo, something that may be cheating to Apollo may not be cheating to Phaedra. And then Apollo has the mindset that, oh, I don't believe she's cheating on me, but anything can happen, she can cheat on me. No, that's not how marriage works, like everybody else. And that's why I feel like, I don't know what was going on with Phaedra and Apollo marriage. Did they really know each other enough to get married? Because obviously they're on two different pages and their intellects do not match, because Apollo may be younger than Phaedra, close to age of Phaedra, but Apollo does not act like he's on the same level with Phaedra when it comes to things. So I feel like they were not equal. We knew they were. I mean, I don't want to say we knew they weren't equal, just because Apollo wasn't a lawyer, or he wasn't a part of the corporate world, and he was an ex-felon. But it's like, as the seasons go on, you start to realize, like, their relationship had to be a lot based on the physical and the sexual things they had going on, more than them knowing each other like that. Because it's obvious that they're not on the same page. And then the fact that Kenya and Apollo is on the page sits uneasy with me, because I'm like, they're both thinking the same thing. And she's defending Apollo. And Apollo is not your husband. Apollo is not your man. But you're defending what he's saying. And that's another thing that makes me start to feel like Apollo and Kenya had sex, because she's sitting there defending what Apollo is saying regarding cheating, because she's on the same page with him. Why? Because he done cheated with her. And then the next scene goes into Kenya having everybody all the men go off on their own and trying to address things with the girl. Kenya always tries to fake like she's the peacemaker, and I feel like when she tries to fake like she's the peacemaker, she's either using the opportunity to stir the pot and stir more drama up, or she's using that opportunity to shade people more. So, like, I felt like she didn't go into that whole conversation right there to try to diffuse things with Phaedra. She went into that whole thing to try to throw more shit at Phaedra. Why? Because at the end of the day, she still wants Phaedra's husband. Nobody can tell me that's not what it is, because that's what I feel like it is. I feel like Kenya wants Apollo, no matter how much she acts like she doesn't want Apollo, regardless if they had sex already or not. I feel like Kenya wants Apollo, and that's just the way it is. The next scene goes into the guys. Greg is in that scene checking Peter about going up in Nene's face. One thing about that scene, right? Although I feel like Greg is right of saying, if you have a problem with something my wife did as a man, you need to come to my man. You shouldn't be checking or in my woman's face. But in the same token, Nene should not be jumping in Peter's face like she's a man either. So when that situation happened, I felt like Greg should have spoke up and said, listen, Peter, this is a woman. I understand what you're saying. You may be even right what you're saying, but this is a woman and this is my wife. So the type of hostility and aggression you're showing her, I'm not appreciating. And he should have said that then. Just like tonight, Nene went up in Peter's face, telling Peter he needs to stay out of women's women's business, but in the same token, with your man, let your man handle that. Your husband already started to handle that. He was already checking Peter. There's no way you should have jumped up in Peter's face either. And then now it's like you jumping up in Peter's face, and then Greg has to come and handle it because he's mad. That's not fair for you to place your husband in that situation, which is causing a friendship, which is causing the breakdown of a friendship now, because you placing yourself in a situation where you jumping in the man's face. Your husband is going to defend you because he's your husband and he loves you, and he not going to want no man showing no signs of aggression or hostility towards you. But it's not fair for you to be jumping up in nobody's face either. But yeah, the scene, I kind of jumped the gun a little bit. So the scene before the girls come and Nene jumps up in Peter's face, Todd is trying to defuse it, and he's in the middle, and Greg is pushing him, then Peter is pushing him. So Apollo like, listen, man, Greg, just fall back, man. Just get out of the middle of that shit, because I don't want you to end up the way I did. And it's like, as soon as Todd was like, yeah, that's true, Apollo was trying to defuse the situation, and he got hit, and he just went out the deal. Let me back up, because I don't want to start fighting. But yeah, that's how the whole scene ends. That's how the whole episode ends. So that's my review for The Real Housewives of Atlanta, Season 6, Episode 19, I think it is. The episode, I don't even know. It's like the numbers are so off now. I don't know which episode, because I know the last episode I recorded, I think, was like 14. But the episode after that, the Sunday after that, there wasn't an episode because of an award show. And then I missed 2 episodes, and then this one. So the episode that I think I'm going to stop putting the number of episodes because I think I'm off. The episode that aired March 23rd. This is the episode that I'm reviewing. So if there are any questions, comments, or concerns, feel free to leave them below, or in my inbox, or in my email, my Twitter, and my Instagram. All my links and everything will be listed below. So until next video.